Sovete omnes quid agite hodie. Bene? Optime? Ah, bene. Optime. Gratias vobisage. Et nunc legamus Latina. Mecum. Vertite ad paginam duus cantos sex. Page 206. Page 206. Vertite. Turn to page 206. Si queso. Gratias. We are going to go back through Euphrosine revocata, and we're going to make sure you guys got that right. We're going to do some spot checking here. So once you've turned to page 206, you guys had an assignment last week to do lines 10 through, sorry, my apologies, line 8 through 24 of the first story, and lines 1 through 10 of the second story. So we're going to spot check that. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and let's look at line 15 where Arilus is talking. And he says, At domine, aliquid melius quam pilosopum adeptus sum. So let's make sure you got that one right. But master, I have obtained something better than a philosopher. Arilus has done it. He's really done it. He's saved the day, Arilus has. Oh, what great news. You'll remember that Haterius in the previous line said, philosophers are grumpy old men. I didn't watch any of those. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Basically, that's what he said. Well, here we have Arilus saying, I've got something better. And then he says, me enim auctore. Me auctore means I did it. I done it. Me auctore, with me as the boss. Me auctore. Since I was the author of the thing. I was the author of it. It's very me auctore, since I was the author of it. A certain philosopher, Puella Pulcherrima, the most beautiful philosopher, has been invitatad, has been invited here. All right, let's skip ahead. So now we know what Arilus has done. And then Haterius, we're going to skip down to the end, line 24. Arcese huc praeconem. Arcese huc praeconem, he says. Summon the herald here. All right, and you might say, well, what happened in between there? Let's go back a line. Thank you for that. If we go back a line, we'll notice that on line 20 through 22, fortasse iste prego, homo summa stultitiae, eam non admissit. So now we're going to see why they wanted the herald so badly. Perhaps that herald, a man of the greatest stupidity, did not admit her. So iste means that. It means the worst sort of that. Whereas ille just means that one over there or that famous one. Iste means that. And so that's what he means when he says iste prego. Okay, great job. I'm glad you guys hopefully did a nice job there. Hopefully you were able to really nail that. And then in scene 2, when the when the herald has entered, Haterius asked whether or not he had refused the philosopher. And Haterius starts the conversation here. We're on line 3. Philosophum pulchrum anxius expecto. I am waiting on a beautiful philosopher. Surely you, Stultus, you an idiot, you the stupid one, didn't deny her. Noom, as you might remember, means noom, surely not. That's what most folks say when they stub their toe. They'll say, noom, surely not. And so surely you did not deny her. Notice the herald makes up some sort of an excuse. And then in line 6, Haterius says, tibi non credo, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And please use your fingers, point, and your books. You should have your books open. I hope you do. Books open on page 206. Look here at your final sentence. Hopefully, you can see it there in line 8. That philosopher, illa philosopa, quam ignarus abegi, that philosopher whom I denied unknowingly, ignarus, she went ad flumen to the river to get into a boat. Haterius then, as angry as he can be, he says, go at once, you blockhead, you cowdex, go at once. Hurry to the table. Don't ever return unless you're with the philosopher. You can imagine if that were your boss, if that were your master saying that to you, how scary that would be. Don't ever return unless you're with the philosopher. What if the boat's already left? And remember, the Pryco is quite fat. You can only imagine what's going through his head, that Pryco, as he searches for Euphrosyne. You might remember, there's our herald, there, the fat guy. There's Euphrosyne. Oh, how he regrets that action. You'll remember there's Euphrosyne. You might remember you guys took a peek at her last week, which was really nice. And then let's read on in Euphrosyne Revocata 2. Let's skip ahead where he finally gets to her. We're now in line 16. Euphrosyne has just stopped because she heard her name, and then he says, Ignosce mihi ero prosyne doctissima. Forgive me, most learned Euphrosyne. Noli discedere, don't leave. Because es tibi domo. Hateri me cum procedere. You might remember that when we started this call, I used the word me cum. You might remember that. And you might say, well, Mr. Lichty, why might you have said that in the beginning? Well, perhaps it was so you'd start to think about the word me cum. Now, me cum is very common for Romans. It means with me. And so if you have a word like me cum, it means with me. Now, astute readers, what do you think te cum means? It means with you. Excellent. Now, astute readers, what do you think nobis cum means? It means with us. Astute readers, what do you think vobis cum means? Thank you for asking. It means with y'all. There it is. Nice. So there you have it. That's a little bit of work there with those compound words that have to do with cum. So he says, please come back to the house with me, please. And Euphrosyne asks a very logical question. She says, Cur me revocas? Why are you calling me back? Why? Aren't all omnes philosophy, all philosophers are hateful. That is, they're all hateful to Haterius. That is, he hates all philosophers, as you said, as you yourself said, ipse, to ipse. I'm going back to Athens, bye-bye. And she's about to leave, but then the herald, of course, bursting out with tears, finally convinces her to stay. You can only imagine this scene. It seems unbelievable. They're there at the Tiber River. She's loading up in a boat, and he begs her, cries. You can only imagine. This is really gonna be something. So now, as to your assignment this time, your assignment is to read Cana Haterii, page 207. You're to read, translate, and write it out in your own handwriting. Cana Haterii, page 207. And then, of course, page 208 as well, so 1 through 32. You're to read, translate, and write that out in your own handwriting by yourself. You're not to work with anyone else. You're not to work with You know, you're not to type that into Google Translate or something ridiculous like that. You're to do your best. Try to do it yourself. Now, I want to walk you through the first several lines to make sure we're on the same page. So please make sure you're there now. Nona hora amici clientesque, quos haterius invita verat ut secum diem natalem celebra reverent, triclinium ingredie bantur. All right, let's look at that. So in the nona hora, that's one of the hours of the day, you figure it out, the amici and the clients whom Haterius had invited to celebrarent. What was he inviting them to do? He was inviting them to celebrarent his diem natalem secum, with him. We just talked about that, with him. Wow. It's like we're doing these things on purpose, with him. What did they do? They ingredie bantured his triclinium. They entered his triclinium. So guys, I think you have a good sense of how to translate that sentence. Let's go to the next one. Inter eos aderant filii libertorum, qui humili loco nati magnas opes adepti erant. So here we have among them aderant, there were. Okay, there were the filii of the libertorum. I bet you can get that one. There were the filii of the libertorum who were born in a low place. That is, who were commoners, let's just say. It really says born in a low place, but who had received adepti erant magnas opes. So magnas, you can probably figure that out, and then opes means wealth. All right, so who had received magnas wealth. Also, there were known newly. Known newly is a fun word. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's talk about it. Known newly here. Known newly. Known means not. Newly means none. And so if you have not none, what do you have? Some. If you have not none, you have some. And so that's what known newly means. Pretty fun word. I think you all will admit that. All right. Now, some, let's see here, some senators also were present who were oppressed by inopia. Now, inopia, that's the opposite of opes. We just said opes meant wealth. So inopia probably means not wealth or poverty. Who were oppressed by poverty. They were looking out. They were trying to get the favorem of Haterius. Right, so I bet you can figure that out as well. Next paragraph. Proximos, next to Haterius, was reclining Sabinus, the consul. What? He had the consul at his birthday party? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine having the president at your birthday party? Just boom, right there, next to you. President. What? I mean, this Haterius, this guy is a high roller. He's got Sabinus, the consul, next to him, a man of the highest authority. Well, of course he is. That goes without saying. With the hope of Favorus, I bet you can figure that out. With the hope of Favorus, Haterius was addressing Sabinus with blandis et molibus verbis. Blandis et molibus verbis. And I bet you can figure out blandis and molibus with this sort of word and that sort of word. Okay. He himself was wearing anulos aureos. Anulos aureos. Think of AU from the periodic table, and you'll get aureos, which were shining with gems. They were reflecting with gems. They were there is a word actually, refulgent with gems. They were shining with gems. And then what was he doing with his teeth? He was perfodeating his teeth. Fossa means a ditch. He was digging a ditch between his teeth, or picking his teeth, with a spina argentea. And a spina is just what you think it is. Spina argentea. Argentea is where is AG on the periodic table. And that's the sort of toothpick that he had. Meanwhile, duo Aethiopes were entering the triclinium. What were they carrying? They were carrying a huge lonkem, a huge dish, and on which had been positioned an aper totus. Aper is a kind of an animal. A totus means whole. So that was positioned on there was a whole op-air, which is pretty sweet. You can imagine being at a party and they bring in a Totus op-air. In fact, there's a picture there of a Totus op-air. And then we have here statim coccus, qui Aetiopas in triclinium, secutus erat ad lancem progressus, est ut aprum secaret. So suddenly the coccus, you know what a coccus is, we've met Grumio. I mean, you know Grumio, come on. Suddenly the coccus, who had secutus, the Aetiopas, into the triclinium. All right, so I'm giving you lots of help there because I'm sorting out the word order for you. Progressed to the dish, or went to the dish so that he could secaret the opera. Okay, who knows what he's going to do? That's what he's going to do, I believe. After the opera had been sectoed skillfully, after that had happened, multi-always suddenly flew out. I wonder what the always are. They suddenly flew out. Flew out of what? They flew out of the out of the op-air. I almost gave you the answer. I don't want to give the answer. They flew out of the op-air, singing or chirping. They were pipiantes, sweetly. Okay. The guests, when they had seen what the cook had prepared, parareset, they praised his art. Vehement. Oh, so good. Oh, so good. Yes. Delighted by this thing, Haterius ordered his service. He ordered his service to do what? To bring in jugs of Falernian wine, jugs, amphoras. After the amphoras had been brought in, the Calarius, remember we said that's a sommelier. The sommelier is the wine steward. The wine steward, the person whose whole job is to recommend wines. The sommelier. Well, I think maybe some of you could be dashing sommeliers someday. So the sommelier, what did he do? He recited with a great voice. What did he recite with a great voice? The titulos, the labels which had been affixed to the bottles. He recited them, and he said, "Falernium Haterianum vinum centum honorum," in a very haughty sort of way, in a very prideful sort of way, because he's a sommelier after all. And sommeliers, if they're not prideful, what do they have, really? They're wine stewards, right? I'm a sommelier. I can recommend the best wine for you. And, please, no offense. If one of you is an aspiring sommelier someday, please don't be offended. I'm sure you will work in a fine restaurant and enjoy your time very much. Magister Elective, it just so happens that my uncle is a sommelier. It just so happens he is. He's a sommelier in Britain. He sure is. Okay, great. Good for your uncle. I hope he is prospering. All right. No offense. All right. I already said no offense. Please don't be offended. Okay. And then I think I'm going to leave these last few lines for you to do on your own. So you'll need to write this out from the beginning. Lines 1, Kena Haterii, lines 1 through 32. I've helped you with the first 19 lines. Well, actually, I haven't just yet. Then the wine, and they began to pour the wine. The slaves began to pour the wine into the cups. So now I've helped you with the first 19 lines. You need to make sure you do 20 through 32 on your own. On your own. Now you might find yourself taking this video we've made and rewinding it and that sort of thing, going back and making sure you've got it. That's totally fine. No problem. That's why this is here. That's why we post this for you. There we go. All right, folks. I hope you have a great time translating. Enjoy this story of the Kena Haterii, the dinner of Haterius. I wish for you many fine meals. Okay, Pax vobis cum. Oh, you know what? Before I wish you that, should I write your assignment on here? Maybe I should. Let's go ahead and write your assignment up. Let's do it. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We're going to say page 207 and 208. Write out a translation in your own handwriting. Let's see, should it be in your own handwriting? Yes, write out a translation, 207 and 208, Kena Haterai, in your own handwriting. Then you can take a picture of that, email that to Mrs. Gannon, or you can turn it into your weekly packet, no problem. Either one is just fine. All right, I think we've got that taken care of. Okay, great. Pax vobis cum.